Hello and welcome to the CFC Talk podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mohammad Soleja, and firstly, before we get into today's podcast, thank you for listening to the previous episode as well as watching it on YouTube. A lot of support from all of you guys on all of the platforms. And before we get into today's podcast, a few of the announcements that I have to make tonight. The website that we were launching is now online. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, you should be able to find it in the description below, as well as on Anchor FM, where we upload our podcasts. If you're listening to any of the websites that are associated with Anchor, you should also be able to find it in the description. If not, you can find it on our Instagram page, CFC Talk. Firstly, today's hosts for tonight, Alex and Amart, just as last time. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello. Great to be on. Great to be on again, for sure.
It's great to have both of you guys as well. Firstly, going into the podcast now, there's the points for today's podcast. A touch on the Bayern game. It was a humiliating defeat, but also not as bad as Barcelona's defeat the other night. And then a bit of a talk about the Chelsea show coming our day after this podcast releases on the 19th of August. And then Willian to Arsenal, Kai Havertz update, Ben Chilwell and Declan Rice, all transfer targets for Chelsea this season. And then a bit of a look at Frank Lampard's time at Chelsea so far. Firstly, guys, what did you guys think of the Bayern game?
Amart, do you want to go say what you said?
Yeah. So the Bayern game, I was saying earlier before the podcast, I was saying that it's a game that I didn't really want to watch, but we all didn't want to watch it because we knew what was going to come out of it, because they went into the game with a 3-0 advantage. They beat us 3-0 at home, so they had a massive advantage over us. And with our injuries and our lack of consistency, we didn't really know what to expect, and we didn't really have hope to do it. But so the thing was, we all expected like a fight from the Chelsea players, at least to fight, at least to draw or to do something about the result. And in the first half, they really fought, because we ended the first half with a 1-1 draw. So they really did well in the first half, with Tammy Abraham getting the equalizer. But the second half, we just couldn't match them we couldn't match their pace, couldn't match their quality, we couldn't match anything of theirs, and they completely just ran riot and ended the game 4-1 winners.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think when we walked out on the pitch, Chelsea players looked confident. You know, even though we had eight senior players who weren't available on the night, they looked like they came out with some determination and the fact that they wanted to win. But I think it just didn't go our way, especially in the second half. As you said, we drew the first half 1-1. But going back to your point, does this demoralize the youngsters and everyone who played on the day, or does this make them want to work harder more?
It really doesn't demoralize them, because, like I said, we knew that this was a very difficult hill to climb, especially with the 3-0 advantage that they had. So I think it was just a chance for them to play more, but unfortunately we didn't have many youngsters playing in that game. But I think it was an experience, an experience that they could have had to at least participate in the UCL and be able to see how the Champions League is like. But unfortunately, they didn't get that chance, and I don't think it's demoralizing. I think it's kind of like a spirit builder for them, rather. So because the players showed fight in the first half, like I said, the players showed fight. So I don't think it will be demoralizing. We just pick ourselves up and then learn from it and come back strong next season.
Yeah, I mean that's great to hear as well. Alex, what do you think? What did you think about that performance?
Much, I agree with Amart. I'm not too angry at the performance. We went there and we technically scored 2 goals. Callum Hudson-Odoi was so unlucky to have his goal ruled out, and that was a stunner, really. So I can't remember if it was scored in the first half or the second half, but yeah,
I think it was the first half.
yeah. So we could have gone into the game winning 2-1, and but if at the end of the day, I don't think anyone really expected us to qualify. And you saw what Bayern did to Barcelona a couple of days ago, and with Barcelona, that Barcelona team was pretty much a full fit team, I think, and
they were.
they got absolutely demolished. Whereas we are missing about half our normal starters, and we went toe to toe with them until the second half. When if you look at what we've been playing games every 3 days for the past 2 months, was Bayern of I think they had their last league game
In
weeks ago.
March.
Yeah. I think they had a couple of Bundesliga games.
Oh
this
yeah.
week,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did.
but they finished probably I think a month before us, and they've just been biding their time, having a couple of friendlies. All their players fit.
I think after that Bayern and Barcelona game, all the Chelsea fans I think they just thanked Frank Lampard for not conceding 8 goals in a match.
Yes.
It's I think considering we had to play Emerson, who he's pretty much out the door. I thought Emerson actually wasn't that bad. He was pretty good.
Yeah, that match really made you reconsider who needs to be sold and who needs to be kept. And I think there are a few players we haven't given a lot of chances to throughout the season, and they might just want to still stick around and stay at the club, but sometimes it's not possible to do that.
Like Emerson, with the Emerson thing, before that Bayern game, I thought we should really keep Alonso, and then we should really keep Alonso, sell Emerson. But now I just think if money comes in for either of them, might as well get rid. It doesn't. Neither of them really. Alonso, yes, he's good in the back three, but I think Lampard's trying to get away, or is trying to move away from that. So, yeah, just whoever comes in with more money.
But in contradicting you, I would say Lampard is trying to apply the three at the back formation. I mean, I don't think we used it against the Bayern game, but overall, I would expect Frank Lampard to use a back three if we do manage to sign a centre back and a good goalie.
Yeah. He. I don't think 3 at the back is Frank Lampard's preferred formation. I think he prefers the 4-4-2 formation, if anything. But like he selects the 3 at the back depending on our opponents. If he sees that our opponents are people is a kind of team that attacks. Is always attacking more than defending. You use the 3 at the back, but I think it depends on the opponent we are playing against. Did that come out well, or
That's come out well. Yeah. Also, I think can't remember a game where Frank's gone with 3 at the back when he's had Kante available. He's always, whenever Kante's been there, he's always played 4-3-3.
Which is very weird because you would expect him to play Kante in a defensive role when it's a 3 at the back, such as Conte did in 2016, was it?
Yeah, it's not sure why, but I think 4-3-3 is just the way Frank wants to see him. Plus, it gets the best out of everyone else. Like Mount isn't. He can do a job at the wing, but he's
ideally a midfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think whatever formation we go with next season, it's the defense that we need to improve at any cost, I would say, at this point, after looking at the Bayern game as well.
Yeah, because now we've gotten a lot of attackers, and I don't think getting more attackers will be the solution. We need defenders.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think that's all for the Bayern game. Any more positives that we found from that game?
Yeah, Kante was really good throughout the game.
N'Golo Kante, Callum Hudson-Odoi as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were the standouts.
Yeah.
Callum had a big point to prove, I think, especially with it being against Bayern, who he was linked with. I think he had a big point to prove, and I thought he did pretty well.
I think
Yeah, he did.
it's time for him to step up and really show his worth if he needs a position in that in the lineup next season, because he knows the competition is going to be quite high next season with Werner and Ziyech coming in.
I'm very confident he'll get a chance next season. He will prove himself. There's a good player that there's a very promising player there. He showed it last season and last 2 seasons, and I'm very sure if given the chance with the competition that we've had, he'll do well.
I think would you use Callum Hudson-Odoi as a regular starter, or would you use him for cup matches, or Champions League matches, depending on what team we're playing against?
It all depends on the injuries. Even this season, and even his previous seasons at Dortmund, he's quite a fragile player. So if Pulisic is fit and on form, then Pulisic probably starts ahead of him. But if not, if Pulisic is injured, then yeah, I fully expect Callum Hudson-Odoi or maybe even Werner to play on the left.
Yeah,
I think Frank said Pulisic will be out for 6 weeks.
but
He might probably be out like for 2 weeks when the season starts. So.
Ideally, it's the start of the season, which is not very hectic, so there's not going to be a lot of matches going on, especially knowing that the players have had such a rough summer, and they've had about, I think, 10 games, Alex, or 12 games in the span of 2 months?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
But
yeah. And we know that the cup, I think the FA Cup doesn't start till the 9th of January. So, but moving away from the topic of Bayern Munich, Chelsea documentary. Have you guys seen the trailer?
I read something about, or isn't it something like focusing on Frank's journey this season?
Yeah, it's titled Frank Lampard Coming Home.
I saw it on the website, but I've not seen the trailer yet.
I just saw a teaser on Twitter. I think CFC, the Chelsea Twitter, the official one, tweeted it out, and it looked incredible. And they said it was 8 episodes or 9 episodes, and I think on the 19th, if I'm not online anywhere, then I'm going to be watching that because it really looked inspiring.
Yeah, the production, it looks like a movie. The production quality of the trailer is really it's pretty insane. So yeah, that's really exciting.
Yeah, but overall, like if as of the picture that they're going to paint of Frank Lampard is going to be always positive. But as a fan, asking both of you guys, what would you say? How would you rate Frank Lampard's season so far coming in, knowing that we came into this season knowing, oh, we're not going to win any trophies. This is only just a rebuild back to becoming regular top fours or contenders for the Premier League and maybe the Champions League at one point.
Yeah. For me, I love Frank. Like I said the last time, I love Frank, and he has done when he came in. I didn't expect him. I didn't expect us to be top 4 contention at all, or like to finish in the top 4, because he came in a little bit inexperienced, just 1 year coaching experience, and this is a big job for him to come and take over. Taking over Chelsea FC is a very big job and a big deal. And I read somewhere that the board gave him to finish at least 6th. So if he can finish 6th and above, it's a win. And he finished 4th. That's really, really amazing. And the kind of football we played at the beginning of the season too was very, very promising. Yes, we dropped in performance over the months, but we did very, very well at the beginning of the season. And after the restart too, we were a bit unfortunate with the defensive errors and stuff like that. We could have finished third, but we didn't for some reason. But finishing 4th is very, very good for Frank Lampard. And
to be honest with you, Amart, I think we finishing 4th. I would consider that 3rd as well, because I think we were tied on points with Man United. It was just a goal difference, so
But United fans won't take that. They'll still say they finished ahead of us no matter what. So I don't want to cross that bridge.
I think if you remove Bruno's penalties, then I think we would have made it above
Yeah,
them.
we have made above them because they really covered a lot of ground after the restart.
What about you, Alex?
I mean,
Sorry, Amart. Sorry, Amart. I think you were going to give me a rating for Lampard. I think I stopped you there.
Yeah, for Lampard, I'm going to give him an 8.5 over 10.
That's really high,
Because
but you know,
just considering the fact that no one expected him to reach where he has reached, and he has gotten there. So it's like the expectations were very, very low, and he has managed to get a team made up of the youth and then a few experienced players to get a fourth position, almost third. I think it warrants an 8.5 from me.
I mean, that's really high from a trophyless season. But we will get into that into the talks about trophies in the next few seasons a bit later. But Alex, what about you? What do you think about Frank Lampard's first season?
firstly, on the topic of the documentary, I'd hope at least that they cover his defeats. I think they'll cover a little bit of the bad moments, and more going as Frank Lampard himself. I think you can give him two ratings. You can give him a third. Like, you can basically split the season into two halves. In the first half of the season, when we kind of went on the great winning run and we were playing really well even against the teams that were sitting back against us, and we got through the Champions League in a really difficult group, you could probably give the first half of the season probably an 8.5 or a 9, I think, out of 10.
Yeah,
But then the second half of the season, we start to struggle against the teams that sit back against us, but we still achieve our goal. We still achieve the top four goal. So I'd probably give it the second half a 6.5, or maybe a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10, and then so can put those together and probably what
Yeah.
probably a
So, but
7.5.
7.5, 7.5 out of 10. I think is quite fair. He's
Yeah,
but
done.
would you say you're giving this rating because it's his first season, and let's say because this season we went trophyless, and if there's a situation next season where we have to say, oh, we're not going to win any trophies again this season, it's going to be another one of those rebuilding or just improving the squad season just to prepare for the next season, would you still back Lampard and say, okay, we would give him another season, or would you say he's out?
I would still back him, but if we had exactly the same season as we did this season, players coming in, then my opinion of Lampard and my rating of the season would go down significantly, because
yeah,
he's had the opportunity to spend money, and they're his players, the players that he wants, and it's not. I mean, it is acceptable to do exactly the same because he still probably needs to sort out the goalkeeper and the defense, but it's nothing more than that. It definitely wouldn't be. It would not be a good season if we finished exactly the same. So
So you would be expecting at least the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup.
yeah, I would expect that. I would expect the
yeah.
more comfortable top four run, and I would expect less embarrassing results against Southampton and West Ham.
Because in my opinion, I would say that the FA Cup had our name all over it. It was just on the day we turned up, but we didn't seem like we were too eager to win it, and we just played for the fun of it, kind of thing. Because that performance really reflected, in a way, it reflected the negative side of Lampard, in which like he cannot come back from a 2-1. Like if he could not come back from a 2-1 score line, I don't know if it's going to be possible next season to win 3-0, 4-0 against clubs like Man City, Man United, the way that we did in our title-winning season last time. I would rate Frank Lampard a 6 out of 10 this season, because if we would have won the FA Cup, I would have given him a straight 8. But I think at least the FA Cup.
6 out of 10 is a bit harsh, don't you think?
I mean, look, at the end of it, we as Chelsea fans, we've been saying, oh, we didn't have any signings this season, but we have to look at it in a way. Pulisic was still brought in because we had already signed him, and so did Kovacic. So that's still two additions who are in the team.
Yeah, but I wouldn't classify Kovacic as an addition because he was already playing for us before we made his deal permanent. Probably Pulisic, yes, Pulisic was an addition, but it wasn't Lampard's um player. All right, it wasn't Lampard's signing, but he was technically signed before Lampard came on. So yes, we had one addition, but for Kovacic, I would say it was bound to happen. Like the permanent impact was bound to happen.
I think I would still give him a 6. I think we could have
Yeah,
still done better.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
yeah,
it depends how much you consider the circumstances. Without all the circumstances, objectively, the Chelsea season's been pretty average.
yeah.
Yeah.
It has.
I think
It
if
has.
you're considering it, if you're just considering Chelsea season with no transfer ban or whatever, just forget all about all that. It's probably a 5 or a 6. Really, it's not. It's it's nothing lower than a 5, but yeah, 6 out of 10 is
Yeah,
pretty fair.
because like imagine that we actually brought in like an experienced manager and we still finished the way we finished. Like nobody will be happy.
No, yeah,
I
sorry,
think
sorry if we had done if basically Surrey had had this season, it would have people would not have been happy.
he would have been out of the door. He would have been out of the door by
Yeah,
now.
he would have been out from
I
the
think
like maybe after the first West Ham loss, he would have been out.
Yeah, but continuing on the topic of Frank Lampard, would you say the board would give him more time than other managers due to the fact that he knows this club in and out and he's been associated with the club for so long?
Yeah, yeah, we I think so. Considering this, even this documentary that they've made about him, it took me by surprise when I saw it. Because I was like, why did they have to do a documentary just after one season? But that documentary should like tell us that they have full confidence in Frank, and they might give him more time to build the team that he wants to build. So I think the board will give him more time to do what he has to do to get us to the top.
Yeah, it makes sense. But moving on to the next segment of this podcast, actually is the transfer talk. Every single fan, every single football fan at the moment just wants to hear transfer news from reliable sources. But firstly, guys, your reactions on Willian to Arsenal.
An unexpected, no, unexpected prize. No, I think we all expected him to go, and
Yeah.
it's sad, but I think he deserves a 3-year contract somewhere, but just not at Chelsea. So in
I
that
think
sense, I'm happy for him.
I think this is one of the first deals where both Chelsea and Arsenal fans both were happy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think
Which
Arsenal fans are way too happy. They are too.
that's something that I had on the list at the moment. I would listen to Chelsea fans and they'd be like, okay, yeah, he's a quality player, but at the same time, is he worth keeping 3 years at the club? And I know I said last time that I would keep Willian for another 3 years,
Yeah,
but the more you read about it, the more it makes sense, and you're like, yeah, maybe we could like not have him at the club. It wouldn't affect us as much. But Arsenal fans, like they use this signing as if they signed Messi and Ronaldo on the same day, and they were like, oh yes, we're on top of the world. We've just
yeah,
signed one of the best players.
exactly. But to be fair, I have some Arsenal fans that like they admire Willian already before he joined them, I think on AFTV also they had an episode where they talked about like players that they would want, and I think some of them even mentioned that Willian is a quality player from Chelsea. That was like I think 2 or 3 years ago. So I think Arsenal fans already like Willian, but the way they behaved when he was signed was really really weird. Like their official Twitter page posted like 7 or 8 tweets just on the Willian transfer, and I even commented. And I was like, you just signed William. You didn't sign CR7. Calm down.
He's a 33-year-old who you're going to be paying 250,000 per week
For
and
3 years.
for 3 years, and while you've just I think fired 55 employees, or was it something like that?
Yeah, it's 55.
Yeah,
And from Williams' point of view, it's a fantastic deal. I'm pretty sure it's one of the best deals of his life.
yeah. I mean, it gives him another 3 years in London. He's been there for 7 years, so it technically he doesn't have to move anywhere. It's another local club from London, so he can just enjoy another 3 years with the fact that he's backed up with 250,000 each week for the next 3 years.
And he'll be playing with his best friend again, Luis.
Yeah, David Luiz and Willian, the Brazilian partnership.
Yes.
Alex, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Arsenal fans will be happy now, but I doubt they're going to be happy in 2 years' time, where they're going to be paying a 35-year-old that much, and he will
Yeah.
not want to go anywhere. I don't see them selling him in a couple of years. So it's Arsenal fans can be happy now, but I'll guarantee it that in 2 years' time, just like with Ozil,
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
they're not going to be so happy. So
Yeah, I was going to mention Ozil because every AFTV every time Arsenal lose, AFTV just go after Ozil, even if it's not on the bench or not even in the match. And I think Willian's going to get a lot of hate from Arsenal fans once the season starts. Maybe not this season, but next season or the season after.
Yeah, I'm very confident that he'll start very well. Willian has that in him. Like when there's a lot of pressure on him to perform, he can't perform. But if you maintain that throughout the season, it's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember who Arsenal play on the right hand side at the moment, but I think Willian would be a regular starter at Arsenal.
I think it's probably start on there are rumours of Lacazette of them getting rid of Lacazette, or perhaps, to be fair, he could be Martinelli cover, because Martinelli's been injured he's going to be injured until like 2021, so
Yeah.
it makes sense to have another attacker to go. I reckon they'll probably play him on his favoured left side, because I don't see Willian benching 70 million Pepe. So he'll probably start on the left or something.
Yeah. So, is it as a Chelsea fan, is this a good deal for us getting rid of Willian?
For me,
No.
Alex was quick to react on it.
Yes. I think I spoke to you about it the last time. I love Willian. I've been a fan of his since he joined in 2013, and he's given us wonderful moments. But like I said the last time, if he were to like accept the fact that he might not play regularly next season, then fine, it's cool to have him. But it looks like he didn't want to be a rotational player. He didn't want to be on the bench. So from a Chelsea fan point of view, I think it's the best deal for him, the best deal for us, and we can move on and to better things next season.
Yeah, I think we should end the Willian debate there. He is no longer a Chelsea player. It will be kind of weird to see him in a red shirt for the start of the season next time, but one player that we want to get from the red shirt to blue is Kai Havertz. Guys, when is it happening?
That was smooth. That was very smooth.
Very smooth.
Yeah. Who knows? All I think is we can start. People are getting worried already about it, but I'm not going to get worried at all until he reports for training to Leverkusen in, I think, 2 weeks' time. So,
yeah, but there's the only update that I've received from the last episode to this episode is the fact that Man United may be interested in him if Jordan Sancho's deal goes off, which I think is going off.
I mean, apparently Chelsea is the one he wants, but yeah, I guess never write off Man United. But yeah, Chelsea's the one he wants, and we can give it a still. I'm still not worried about it. We're still in talks. Fabrizio Romano, I think, tweeted today saying the talks are still happening every day. So we just got to wait and see. Yes, 2 weeks. 2 weeks time. If it's not done by then I won't really be expecting it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amart, your opinion?
I feel the same way because I think according to Fabrizio, there have been an agreement reached between the player and then the club But it's just the only thing left is the agreement between the club, the two clubs. So if they are able to come up and agree on a particular price, because the 100 million that they are calling for is very high. So if they are able to agree on terms, I don't think Manchester United can take that deal away from us, because he has already agreed and he wants to come to Chelsea. So I'm not really worried about that. It's just a matter of time. The news has gone quiet a bit, so it's making a lot of Chelsea fans nervous about the situation, because we did something similar to Liverpool concerning Werner. So anything can
But
happen.
but does that not, if I'm buying Leverkusen and if I'm looking at this transfer and I'm saying, all right, let's just delay the transfer as much as possible to just try and get Chelsea to be more eager about Kai Havertz and just show more interest and just raise the price on Havertz.
I don't think that can go any higher than what they've already called. If the price goes any higher, I'm pretty sure Chelsea will back out. But I don't think the price can go any higher. Chelsea is right now negotiating for the price to come down a bit, according to Fabrizio's tweets. So
I think
it's just a matter
is it
of a
at
bit.
80 million at the moment, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, it's at 80 million. Yeah, it is. I think according to Fabrizio, the negotiations are like pay 80 million with some add-ons to cover the 100 million fee they are calling, but it seems they want everything upfront before they agree. So I'm very confident in Marina's abilities, and I think we will get that deal done soon.
But looking at it from Leverkusen's perspective, 80 million is a lot of money for them. They're only a growing club at the moment, so they'd want as much money from Chelsea as possible to try and just strengthen their squad for next season as quickly as possible.
Yeah, if you look at their squad, the only player they can sell that high is they want to make the most out of it. And we are Chelsea, we are an English team coming to buy a German player. They want to get the most that they can get from us before we get Havertz. Havertz, their star player.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense on that note as well. But Kai Havertz, I think we've discussed this the last episode as well. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is he for Chelsea at this stage?
Tough question. I don't think we need him that much, but he is probably the most talented German player, probably the best young German talent in football right now. And
Mm-hmm.
if he's going to come anywhere and no one else can really buy him this summer, then why not Chelsea? I think that's the thinking behind it. And so yeah, I'd give it an 8 or a 9. He's not crucial to the team, but he's going to add goals. He's going to be a fantastic Barkley replacement. And yeah, so and with him in the side, he can play right wing. So he basically completes the attack.
We do have quite a lot of players who are multi-positioned.
Yeah.
Mason Mount and Werner, and then hopefully Havertz as well soon. But Amart, what would you rate this transfer, and how the importance of this transfer?
Considering the amount of attackers we have, we really don't need him that much. But like Alex said, he will be a great addition to the squad because he's versatile. He can play anywhere in attack. So we need a player like that. We Mount Mount has proven this season he can play anywhere in attack, probably except for as the striker or the forward. He can add more goals to our team, and he's a good finisher as well. We lacked goals last season, and we want goals next season. So he will help. He will help in assisting and help in scoring goals. So for me, I'll also go with the 8. I also go with 8/10 for Havertz, because we really don't need him, but he'll be a very very big addition to our squad. Very, very important one for us. Well.
I think what I'm going to summarize this into is that he is someone who's not needed but wanted.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
accurate.
think that,
He's not
yeah.
important transfer, but as a player himself, he's a 10 out of 10. I think there's no better player you could really buy.
Yeah, and it even makes our attack more frightening. Those kind of players in the squad.
Yeah, it really does. It would be a great addition to our team. But I read on Twitter. I've been pretty active on Twitter for just reading stuff about Chelsea. And there's this one tweet where someone said, "Why are we buying Havertz? We should just go for defenders." And then someone replied to that tweet saying, "Look, we might have conceded the most goals in the top 10 of the Premier League, but if we score 15, 20 more goals next season than this season, then it wouldn't look as bad and our goal difference would be higher." Would you say would you say that's the way to go next season, or we need more clean sheets than more goals in a match or in throughout the season?
Yeah, I think I've made a similar point on Twitter, thing before, where with a friend of mine was saying that we really don't need an attacker, we need a defender. But if you look at Klopp's side, Klopp's Dortmund side, I think the side that won um, the Bundesliga some years ago, they scored they scored more goals than they conceded. Like, they conceded goals, all right, but they outscored their opponents, and they rode that technique or that tactic to the end, and they still lifted the trophy. So yes, we could have this same defenders next season, but if we outscore our opponents or we score more goals than we have this season, we like you said, we can be in a better position than this season. But also consider the fact that this season, the teams around us too haven't been the best. So there's an advantage there, because we sometimes we lost games that we were supposed to be punished for, but other teams also lost, and then we went scot free. I don't think the same thing will happen next season. So we have to be on our A game next season. We have to be um, good going forward. We have to be good in defense as well. Yes, we still need. Like I'm saying, the guy, the tweet you read, it makes sense. It has a point. But if all the teams around us are on their A game, we can't just be conceding goals and depend on just scoring.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but at the end of the day, Lampard, I think he's more of an attacking manager, and even if okay, yeah, two parts to this answer. One, with Lampard, he's an attacking manager, and I think even with better defenders, he needs to improve as well. So it's yeah, we get no. The main point is that it's harder. It's this summer is harder to strengthen in defense than it is attack. So yes, we should be spending that money. You could be spending that money that's going to go on Havertz on our defense and goalkeeper, but it's I think you're getting way more value out of it, out of that money by spending it on this great world class, this great German talent, and then save the money on the goalkeeper and defense for when you actually have a good deal available. Whereas right
Yeah,
now on centre backs, it's not.
that that
Yeah.
that really makes sense. So overall, we would rate Kai Havertz's transfer pretty high. And going back to the point Alex made about the defense, next topic of discussion, another smooth transition, hopefully, with Ben Chilwell.
You're on fire today.
I've just had to memorize this before I start the podcast, guys.
The one positive you can say is that at least the club are really going to town on the whole backing the manager thing. They're not settling for their second or third or fourth choice left back. They're going for the guy that Lampard is really, really is a massive fan of. So yeah, I'm happy that the club are going for the target that Lampard wants. But
because that's really interesting. Because when you read on Twitter that we're buying Ben Chilwell compared to when Frank Lampard talks about Chilwell, it's two different things. Because the fans don't want that to happen,
no,
while Lampard would say, "I would buy him before any other player at this stage."
it also could be due to I think fans letting Chilwell's 2020 form kind of cloud their judgments as Chilwell the player, because he's actually been quite. I mean, he's been a pretty good fullback for them for years now. It's just that in 2020 he's had a shocker. He's not been that great really.
Yeah.
Especially defensively. Offensively he's been reasonably good, but it's just in defense he's kind of let it slide a little in 2020. So, yeah, I think fans are letting that cloud their judgment of the player, and I guess Lampard sees through it. I think, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think what I would say is, we were looking to sell Emerson or Alonso in that position.
Yeah, I mean, like when he comes in, I think everyone will get behind him. But yeah, he's gonna have to really play well. It kind of this transfer, as I've said on I think Discord a couple of times, it kind of reminds me of Fernando Torres's transfer, where played fantastically for a couple of years, and then he had an injury and some really poor form for a couple of months, or if not a season. No, I think it was half a season, and then we bought him, and then we just get this washed up player. But
Yeah.
Chilwell's way younger, and so yeah, it probably won't happen.
What about you, Mark?
The thing is, Chilwell, I'm not completely sold on Chilwell, but especially for this season. But the season before, he was pretty good, and the season he was pretty good. It's a pretty good fullback. But the thing is, we as fans, we have to back Frank's choices. For me, the fact that he was able to sell his vision to Werner and Ziyech makes me believe that he wants to build something very strong at Chelsea, very good at Chelsea. So probably he knows why he wants Chilwell, and he knows where to use him best or how to use him best. But for me personally, I don't really, like I said, I'm not sold on Chilwell. But when he comes and he's wearing blue, I'll definitely back him. I'll definitely support him. It's a weird one, but Frank wants him. We just have to be behind him.
I mean, Frank Lampard's making a lot of the signings that the fans want as well. I think we can back him up on one of the ones that he would prefer to have.
He's given us all. He's given us a 10 out of 10 window aside from Chilwell already. So I can forgive him. I can forgive him for making a questionable signing or two because he's already given.
I think if we sign Havertz and then we sign Chilwell, we can just tell him to say, "All right, that's it. That's a deal that we can make."
Even
That would be a fantastic transfer window.
Chilwell, and we still got Havertz. It's easily one of the greatest transfer windows in this club's history.
That would mean you're buying the next generation's three of the top players.
Yeah, I think I saw a tweet just before we started recording regarding our players and their ages, and almost all of them that we have, like the attackers that we have, almost all of them are below 25. So it's really mind-boggling to think that we are building this team for years to come, and it's fantastic. If we can keep all of them fit and keep all of them at the club happy, we can build something good at the club. Whether it's with Lampard or not, the players that we have is just fantastic.
I don't have a smooth line for this one, but just a cringy one. If you haven't had enough of Rice this week, let's talk about Declan Rice.
It's funny, this week I've not eaten rice.
Me neither yet.
Well, I mean, you guys must have avoided Rice for a long time, but Chelsea surely haven't. They're looking forward to having a lot of Rice next season in that centre back / defensive midfield area.
Yeah. Rice looks very, very exciting. As a centre back, I'm not so sure. He might prove me wrong, but he did well. He has done well at centre back for West Ham this season. I would prefer him as a DM, like somebody who can be with Kante, or like someone who can be a Kante replacement when he's not around. Considering the injuries, it might come again this season. So Rice can be somebody who can be a Kante number 2, because he's very good also at DM. But centre back he might prove me wrong, because I don't know how he'll fare when he comes into the Chelsea team and play as centre back. But he's done really, really well for West Ham. So it's exciting. It's exciting to read the news about our connection with Rice. And plus he's a blue through and through. So, and he loves Chelsea. I saw an interview he did with Ferdinand, and the way he was even talking about Chelsea, you could see in his eyes that he wants to play for us, and like that alone excites me about him. So yeah,
I find that very interesting because a lot of the times when we're about to sign a player, I don't know if this is for all of the clubs, but as a Chelsea fan, I've always noticed whenever we try to sign a player, we always look whether they've got the passion for the club, and we talk about. I think the Chelsea Twitter, I think a week ago, tweeted the fact that Mason Mount and Pulisic were in the academy at one point.
Yeah.
And I would just I would just keep thinking, like, right, are we looking for passion or just skill, or is it a mix of both at the club?
Just having withdrawal symptoms from Courtois and Hazard leaving us for clubs that they wanted to leave for. So I guess I can understand it from a certain point, to a level, and I think Lampard understands that too. That he wants players who see Chelsea as the best you can get, as the highest level you can play for, and that's kind of why. And also combined with the fact that we're not very happy with Courtois and Hazard leaving us for better things, relatively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it shouldn't be a reason for them. I mean, the fact that they support Chelsea. Apparently, Sancho supports Chelsea, yet he's chosen money over us. So I don't know. It's
A swap deal between us and Man United, Sancho for Havertz.
nah, nope.
Nah, no,
Yeah,
no.
we got our right winger. We got our right winger. We don't need.
No, he's missed this chance. The boat has sailed long time ago.
The boat
Mhm.
is and
It's
it's
gone.
about
It's gone.
in its new destination called
He's
Land. Yeah.
he's no longer considered a true blue.
Oh, he is. He is. Like he said, he's a Chelsea fan, but the fact that he chose money over us, no.
Yeah, it's bad. But I mean, back on to Rice. It's you can tell he wants to play for the club, and he's got a desire. And I think I can't remember if he captains West Ham or not.
I think he's got a few caps.
I think
I-
he captained them in a few games.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got all of that. But I still don't know whether. To me, I think we need some experience in that lineup, in that back line, and that is why I would take Lewis Dunk over him.
I've been hearing a lot of news about him since the past few days, and he's a lot more experienced than Declan Rice. He would, if he comes in, he would be one of our most experienced players for next season, because now Willian's gone. I think the only player to win the Premier League as a regular starter with us is Azpilicueta, if I'm not wrong.
I think as we the last of the kind of like crop of players to be around.
Yeah.
To still be around.
Did Kurt Zuma play in 14-15?
I don't remember, but I'm looking at the squad for the 2016 season when we won the Premier League, and I don't see him pop up.
I don't think he was there. I don't think Zuma was there. But we can do it.
Yeah. Let me just have a look at this. He
I think there.
He played 15 games. Zuma played 15 games in the 14-15 season.
Oh, yeah. So we've got our stats a bit wrong now.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's but it doesn't. I know what your point though is that we don't have that much experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zuma is he's slowly becoming more. I think he's slowly becoming more experienced. Like
I wouldn't mind seeing Zuma at the club. I was hearing rumors about him, like teams coming in for him or from France or something like that. But I think out of the four that we have, I think him and Tomori would be like I'll prefer them staying than the other two with the guy.
Yeah, I mean I think Zuma's played He's played like 5 years now in the Premier League. So I think we'll trust him to be the main starting centre back next year. But then we just need another person.
So if we sign Ben Chilwell, Declan Rice, and who was the defender again? I'm sorry, I'm not very good with the names.
Lewis Dunk.
Yeah, Lewis Dunk. Yeah. So if we sign these three, what would our defense look like? The starting 5 or 4 at the back.
So Chilwell, Lewis Dunk, Zuma, then either of Aspi or Reece James, and then Willy Caballero.
So we're not even gonna consider Kepa in that with that back 4.
I'm not sure how much money Chelsea will have left to spend after buying Dunk or Rice, Chilwell, and Havertz. Like I don't think they'll have to spare 30 million to buy Onana. I don't know.
Yeah, but I've been seeing rumors about Pope as well. What do you guys think about Pope? Because I'm thinking that Pope might be cheaper and might be a better option than Kepa. Nick Pope.
Yeah, I heard he's going to be, well, he's definitely better than Kepa, but on the price, I mean, I haven't seen any rumored fees for Pope, but I'd expect it to be like 50, 60, 70, something like that, because he's
Wow, that would be very high.
the best player. He was got nominated for Player of the Year for the
Yeah,
Premier League Player of the Year, and I think he's got quite a few years left in his contract, and he's English, so yeah, he's going to be expensive.
But talking about the goalkeeper situation at this point at Chelsea, Kepa hasn't had a lot to work with in the defense, and I wouldn't say I'm a Kepa fan, but would you not give him another chance?
Oh
Few
yeah,
games start of the season.
until mid-October, and the Premier
Yeah.
League season starts September. So he's got a couple. There's chance for him to try him out, and then maybe get him a loan just before the transfer window ends. But
Yeah.
then that leaves not much time to buy a replacement, and yeah, it's a tricky one because I mean I guess none of us were really expecting Chelsea to go and buy Havertz and Chilwell. We weren't really expecting it. So yeah, I don't know how we're gonna solve the goalkeeper problem in summer.
With the goalkeeper issue, I don't know. I feel like considering the amount of money that we spent on Kepa, probably the board, the Chelsea board might try and convince Frank to use him. If we don't get anybody in, Frank won't have any other option than to use him. But I don't think Frank is a big fan of Kepa. I don't think he trusts Kepa in the slightest. But probably the board might, if we can't get anybody in, anybody to come and get him at a profit, I doubt that he'll be on the bench and Caballero might start. If Kepa stays, Kepa is starting. I'm very sure about that.
I don't even know now because Willie got started in the Champions League, started in the FA Cup. I don't know. Yeah.
But Willie Caballero too is very old though. He's 38 years. He'll be turning 39 in September. That's almost 40 years.
Amart, I think there's an issue with Mohammed. Wait, Mohammed, you are muted.
No, I think I'm fine.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Never mind. We'll keep going. Sorry, I was worried.
No worries. I think we'll just leave this part into the podcast as well.
Sure.
But yeah, going to Amart's point on Caballero being old, Gianluigi Buffon, he still plays.
He's not the number one, but still, I mean, I'm fine with him staying for next season.
If a player is showing promise, why would you consider his age as an option?
No, I'm saying that like with what Frank seems to be building, Caballero doesn't look like a long-term project. It looks like a short-term project. So like maybe the most we can get out of him is like a year or 2 years.
Maybe until the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't like to see I wouldn't like to see Willie played consistently when, I don't know, if we have to, then fine, but we'd just rather see that goalkeeper problem solved in the summer, because I don't think anyone's going to be wanting to sell their first choice goalkeeper in January.
It makes a lot of sense.
But then again, it also doesn't make much sense to just buy everyone, buy all of our targets in one go.
Yeah, I think this transfer window is the best window to do that because UEFA has relaxed the FFP rules. So if we want to go crazy in the market, I think this is the best one. We might not have any other opportunity again. So if they want to go all out in this one, it's fine by me.
Even if they don't relax the FPP, you could just pay them £10 million and get away with it. Apparently.
Here, we've all learned that lesson, so
I think that's all for this podcast. A lot of interesting things coming ahead for Chelsea, of course, but I think we'll call it a night for today, guys. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you made it all the way, do tweet us at our socials and tell us what you thought of this podcast and what you think of our opinions. Soon we'll be starting fan podcasts, so we would be releasing a form shortly where you guys can sign up and get a chance to be on the podcast and talk to the hosts, Alex, me, and Amart, all three of us. As well as that, make sure to check out our website. Again, it will be linked in the below description if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Anchor or any of the other podcast sites, it will be in the description as well. Just before we end it, I would like to thank everyone who listened to the previous podcast. I said it again, I said it in the start, and I would say it again from the bottom of my heart. It really feels nice to know that there are people who would watch this podcast, as this has been a project in the works for 6 months or more. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on Friday, and with hopefully some good news for Chelsea's transfers. And it was a pleasure having you guys on this one as well.